Elon Musk's silent gesture at the presidential inauguration ignited a storm of controversy. But was it a symbol of arrogance or a heartfelt tribute to America's future? The crisp winter sun hovered low over Washington, D.C., casting a golden hue across the iconic Capitol dome. The cold air was alive with the murmur of thousands of voices, a subtle blend of anticipation, hope, and unease. Streets leading to the National Mall were cordoned off with metal barriers and manned by uniformed officers, their breath visible in the frigid air. Vendors selling flags and memorabilia lined the sidewalks, their cries barely audible over the low hum of the crowd. On the Capitol steps, banners of red, white, and blue fluttered against the wind, a visual reminder of the country's unity amidst its divisions. This was more than just an inauguration. It was a chance for renewal, a moment for the nation to breathe and believe in progress, even if only temporarily. The attendees represented a spectrum of American society. Families bundled in thick coats waved miniature flags, their children perched on their shoulders for a better view. Political dignitaries mingled with cultural icons, while reporters with notepads and microphones hustled to capture sound bites. For a moment, ideological divides seemed to dissolve in the collective weight of the occasion. In the VIP section, Elon Musk sat among senators, governors, and business leaders. His presence had not been formally announced, but it didn't take long for the cameras to find him. Musk, dressed in a sleek black suit with a dark blue tie, exuded his trademark calm. While others exchanged greetings and indulged in polite conversation, he remained introspective, his gaze sweeping across the crowd and settling on the Capitol's grand facade. The newly elected president took the stage, their steps deliberate and measured. The speech began with the customary acknowledgments, but as it unfolded, the tone shifted to one of optimism and resolve. Words like unity, progress, and hope echoed through the air, striking a chord with the audience. Musk listened intently, his hands resting lightly on his knees, his expression revealing little but absorbing everything. As the president concluded their address, the crowd erupted into applause, their cheers reverberating through the National Mall. Musk joined in, his claps measured but sincere. Then came the national anthem. The crowd rose, hats came off, and a hush fell over the sea of attendees. Musk stood as well, placing his hand firmly over his heart, his fingers spreading slightly as if to emphasize the gesture. For the untrained eye, it was a simple act of respect. But for those accustomed to dissecting every move of influential figures, it carried an air of deliberation. The cameras zoomed in, their lenses capturing the exact angle of his hand, the slight lift of his chin, and the unwavering focus in his eyes. Musk held the pose until the anthem's final note, then lowered his hand slowly, as if releasing a weight. The image of Musk with his hand over his heart began circulating online within minutes. Photographers from every major news outlet had captured it, and their editors wasted no time publishing it alongside headlines ranging from neutral to sensational. Social media was the first to explode. On Twitter, the photo became an instant meme, spawning hashtags like #MuskGesture, #Heart of Musk, and #What Does It Mean? Some users praised the gesture as a profound act of patriotism, calling it a rare moment of vulnerability from one of the world's most enigmatic figures. Finally, Musk shows his human side, one user tweeted, garnering thousands of likes. But the gesture's simplicity also invited criticism. Skeptics, and especially Musk's detractors, interpreted it as a calculated move to align himself politically or as a sign of arrogance. "A billionaire pretending to care," one viral post read. Another suggested, "That's not a salute. That's a signal to his allies." Leading the charge was Victoria Kane, the fiery host of the liberal talk show Frontline Focus. Known for her incisive commentary and unflinching critiques of powerful figures, Kane dedicated her evening broadcast to the now infamous gesture. "Elon Musk is no stranger to controversy," Kane began, her tone sharp and deliberate. But what did his hand over his heart really mean? Was it a heartfelt expression of patriotism? Or was it something more calculated? Clips of Musk's gesture played repeatedly on the screen as Kane analyzed the moment frame by frame. She invited a panel of experts, body language specialists, political analysts, and cultural commentators to dissect every nuance. Some argued it was a message to his supporters, others called it an ego-driven display, while a few even speculated it was a provocation aimed at his critics. The conversation spilled over into mainstream news outlets. Morning shows discussed the gesture with varying degrees of seriousness, while op-eds flooded the internet. Musk, a man whose every tweet could move markets, now found himself at the center of a national debate over the meaning of a raised hand. As the media frenzy grew, Elon Musk remained conspicuously silent. His social media platforms, usually alive with cryptic tweets, bold predictions, or playful memes, were eerily quiet. This only fueled the controversy. The longer Musk stayed silent, the more narratives formed around him. Behind closed doors, Musk's team grew increasingly anxious. His advisors gathered in a sleek conference room at Tesla's headquarters, their faces tense as they reviewed the latest headlines. "We need to respond, Elon," one of his senior advisors insisted, pointing to a screen displaying the trending hashtags. "They're framing you as manipulative, even unpatriotic. If we let this go unchecked, it could spiral out of control." Musk leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his expression calm but thoughtful. "If I react now, it'll only add fuel to the fire," he said. "Let them talk. They'll wear themselves out, eventually." Another advisor chimed in. "With all due respect, Elon, this isn't just noise." Victoria Kane is relentless, and her reach is massive. She's framing this as more than a gesture. She's questioning your motives, your influence. Musk exhaled quietly, his gaze distant. "Sometimes silence is the best response," he said. "When the dust settles, the truth will speak louder than any statement I could make now." His decision to stay silent wasn't out of apathy or arrogance. In truth, Musk found the entire ordeal ironic. His gesture had been an instinctive act, a genuine expression of respect during a solemn moment. Yet, it had been twisted into something unrecognizable, a symbol of power, defiance, or hidden agendas. But there was a part of him that understood the chaos. In a world obsessed with narratives, a figure like Musk couldn't make a move without it being scrutinized and redefined. He saw the controversy as a reflection of society's tendency to project its fears and hopes onto those in positions of influence. Still, the pressure from his team was relentless. "Elon, we're not asking for a full-blown PR campaign," another advisor pleaded. "Just a simple tweet, something to calm the waters." Musk shook his head. "A tweet won't stop this. The more I explain, the more angles they'll find to twist it. Let them exhaust themselves. Then we'll talk." While Musk's silence remained impenetrable, Victoria Kane's voice grew louder. Her nightly show, Frontline Focus, was now the epicenter of the controversy. Each evening, she dissected Musk's gesture with surgical precision, her fiery rhetoric captivating millions of viewers. "Elon Musk thrives on ambiguity," she declared one night, her piercing gaze fixed on the camera. "It's how he maintains his power, by keeping people guessing. But this time, We won't let him hide behind silence. If Musk wants to be seen as a man of the people, he owes the people an explanation. The segment was accompanied by dramatic clips of Musk's gesture, zoomed in and slowed down for effect. Victoria invited political commentators, body language experts, and even former Musk employees to weigh in. The panel discussions were intense, with theories ranging from innocuous to conspiratorial. One guest suggested, it's clear he was aligning himself with the incoming administration. Musk knows how to stay relevant in every political climate. Another countered, I think it's simpler than that. Musk has a massive ego. This was his way of saying, I'm bigger than the moment. Victoria leaned in, her tone sharpened. And what about the silence? Doesn't that speak volumes? A man with his platform could clear this up in seconds, yet he chooses not to. What does that tell us? The audience, both in the studio and at home, ate it up. Kane's ratings soared as the controversy deepened. Her challenge to Musk became the headline of the week. Come on, frontline focus, and explain yourself. To everyone's shock, Musk accepted. The announcement broke the internet. News outlets across the globe reported on it, speculating about what would happen when the world's most enigmatic billionaire went head-to-head with one of its most formidable journalists. Victoria's preparation began immediately. Her team combed through every public statement Musk had ever made, every interview he had given, and every controversy he had been involved in. She wanted to be ready for anything. This isn't just about the gesture, she told her producers during a late-night meeting. It's about holding someone like him accountable. Musk has influence that rivals governments. If we don't question him, who will? Meanwhile, Musk's team scrambled to prepare him for the onslaught they knew was coming. She'll hit you with everything, one advisor warned. The gesture, your businesses, even your personal life. Are you sure you want to do this? Musk's response was characteristically calm. Let her ask, he said. I'll tell the truth. The evening of the interview arrived with an almost theatrical intensity. The studio of Frontline Focus was bathed in bright clinical lights, every detail meticulously designed to project professionalism and gravity. Rows of audience members filled the seating area, their faces a mixture of excitement and curiosity. Some were Musk's ardent supporters, others vocal critics, but all shared one thing. They wanted answers. Victoria Kane stood backstage, reviewing her notes one last time. She was dressed impeccably in a dark red suit, her presence as commanding as her reputation. Her producers buzzed around her, finalizing camera angles and briefing her on the night's format. The stakes had never been higher. This isn't just an interview, Victoria reminded her team. This is an opportunity to peel back the layers of a man who rarely lets the world in. On the other side of the studio, Elon Musk waited in a small green room, seemingly unfazed by the spectacle unfolding around him. He sipped water slowly, his gaze fixed on a television monitor showing the live audience. Despite the palpable tension in the air, Musk's demeanor was calm, even contemplative. His advisors had offered him extensive prep sessions for the interview, but Musk had waved them off, insisting he would handle it in his own way. When the moment came, Musk stepped onto the stage to a wave of murmurs and scattered applause. He was dressed simply but sharply in a tailored gray suit, his posture relaxed yet confident. As he shook Victoria's hand, the two exchanged polite smiles that barely concealed the undercurrent of tension between them. "Thank you for joining us tonight, Mr. Musk," Victoria began, her voice measured but pointed. "It's a pleasure to be here," Musk replied, his tone neutral yet firm. They took their seats opposite each other, the sleek black table between them almost symbolic of the ideological divide they represented. The audience fell silent, the hum of the cameras the only sound in the room. Victoria wasted no time, opening with the question everyone had been waiting for. Mr. Musk, your gesture at the presidential inauguration has sparked endless debate. Was it a simple act of patriotism, or was there something more behind it? Musk met her gaze evenly. It was exactly what it appeared to be, he said, a gesture of respect, and a way to express my admiration for the ideals this country was built on. Victoria leaned forward slightly, her tone sharpening. Respect, perhaps, but some argue it was also a statement of power. You're a man who thrives on influence. Was this your way of reminding everyone of your role in shaping America's future? Musk tilted his head thoughtfully before responding. I understand why people might think that. In today's world, every action is scrutinized, often beyond its intent. But my gesture wasn't about power or influence. It was about unity, a reminder that we're stronger when we focus on common goals rather than divisions. The audience remained riveted, their expressions a mix of admiration and skepticism. Victoria, sensing an opportunity to push further, continued. Unity is a noble idea, but your silence in the face of this controversy has been interpreted as arrogance by many. Why wait so long to address this? Musk's calm exterior remained unshaken. Silence is often misunderstood, he said. In a world that demands constant reaction, sometimes the most powerful statement is to say nothing at all. I wanted the conversation to evolve naturally, to see how people interpreted it. Only then can you understand what truly needs to be addressed. Victoria paused, momentarily thrown by the depth of his response, but she quickly regrouped, switching gears. Let's move beyond the gesture. Critics argue that your influence extends far beyond technology, that you wield a level of power that rivals governments. How do you respond to accusations that this power is unchecked? Musk leaned forward slightly, his tone firm. Power isn't about control. It's about responsibility. My work, whether it's advancing renewable energy or enabling humanity to become a multi-planetary species, has always been focused on solving problems that matter. If that influence is seen as power, then I welcome the scrutiny. But the results speak for themselves. The tension in the room thickened as Victoria pressed on. Results are one thing, Mr. Musk, but intentions are another. Can you honestly say that your influence hasn't shaped narratives, both politically and socially? Musk allowed a small smile to flicker across his face. Narratives are shaped by people's perceptions, not my intentions. I focus on actions because they create tangible outcomes. If people choose to project their own fears or hopes onto those actions, that's beyond my control. The audience murmured, some nodding in agreement, others exchanging skeptical glances. Victoria, sensing she was losing momentum, decided to deliver her most provocative question. She played the now infamous clip of Musk's gesture, freezing the frame at its most dramatic moment. What do you say to those who see this as a symbol of elitism, arrogance, or defiance? Musk looked at the image on the screen for a moment, then turned back to Victoria. His voice softened, but his words carried a quiet intensity. I'd say they're searching for shadows where there's only light. That gesture wasn't about me. It was about the people who make this country great. The engineers, the scientists, the innovators. It was my way of honoring them. He paused, then shared a personal anecdote. Not long ago, I spoke to a young engineer who told me that the work we're doing at Tesla inspired them to pursue their dreams. That's what I was thinking about during the anthem. Not politics, not power, but the future we're building together. For a moment, the studio was completely silent. Even Victoria seemed taken aback by the sincerity of his response.